Okay, good morning. This is Simon with Trade and Perform Coaching. You can reach me at Trade and Perform, Trade, the letter N, not and, N, perform at gmail.com if you'd like a 5-day pass to the room. Important disclaimer and reminder for all traders and investors, this webinar is for educational purposes only, not a recommendation to buy or sell any particular financial instrument. Equities, futures, options, and currency trading have large potential rewards, but also large potential risks. You must be aware of the risks and be willing to accept them in order to invest in the futures and options markets. Do not trade with money you can't afford to lose. The website is neither a solicitation nor an offer to buy or sell equities, futures, or options. No representation is being made that any account will or is likely to achieve profits or losses similar to those discussed in this channel. Past performance of any trading system or methodology is not necessarily indicative of future results. Absolutely consult your registered financial advisor and your risk trading plan before ever investing or trading any financial instrument. Okay, cool. So I've got the levels pinned off. What I want to focus on is the same as I did the video just a couple of minutes ago. So this is the 15 tick. This is the 24. I'm actually going to switch them because I have them backwards, so I'm going to do it like this. This is the same 50 cent. I'll apply this algo to the 50 cent once I have any little nicks and scratches that need to be kind of buffed out of the trade, and we'll work with it. It takes a lot of effort on each chart to get it done, and we just didn't have time to do it on all the charts yet. So what I want to focus on is a couple of things. So number one, this plus sign can disappear if it doesn't get the second bar. It doesn't always. We haven't quite figured it out, but in order to make sure this plus sign sticks, you either need 2 bars up, or a second bar up, or second bar down. And we're working on why it disappears sometimes and doesn't disappear at other times. Meaning, sometimes you get this bar and then you get 2 bars up and this plus sign disappears. Sometimes it prints and stays, right? So it never disappears after the second bar up. Like this plus sign here, once you get this bar, that plus sign will not disappear, will not rewrite. This plus sign will not rewrite once the second bar is printed. Give a few more examples. Well, it's true on all of them. Doesn't matter which one you look at. This will not disappear once this bar prints, right? Excuse me, I'm wrong. Once this bar prints, 1 bar up. Sorry, I don't know what I'm talking about. Let me correct myself. So, plus sign. Let's get out of Asia. Sorry. So, plus sign, once this bar prints, this plus sign will not disappear. So, I want to go through something that's important here, right? If you get the plus sign with the pink bar on it, it is highly likely to go away. It can, but it's unlikely. I will be taking it, if I see plus sign and pink bar on the same bar, I will be taking it on that bar, and I'll initially elect 11-point stops, but my real desire is to take it with a 7-point stop. So there's 2 items about it. If you close below the point of control, okay, it is likely to extend some amount lower. So when you get this, it's likely to go lower. This would be very simple for me. This bar should never close down like this. So in this case, for me, the entry would look like this. Long, stop. So that's 34 to 26, about 8 points, give or take. But that's what the stop would be. It's actually 33.75 to 26, so whatever that is, 7 points, right? So again, initially I'll start off with 11. I want to give a few more examples of that bar combined with the plus sign. Okay, I guess we're going to find a bunch of examples of where it stops. Plus sign, pink bar, that would be another stop there, right? But the majority of the time when you get these, well, wow, look at this. I'm just going to go on a hiatus. So I'm going to switch what I said on the 15 tick because I just found a bunch of stops. So forgive me. It has to be the second bar in confirmation. I apologize. It's still super powerful. It still gets the extension. I just got lucky this morning when I took it, right? So I'm going to stand corrected. You get the plus sign with the circle, it has to close. So see how that gets stuffed? The release bar is the bar down. I apologize. I don't know why this appeared all of a sudden this way, but it clearly did. So I clearly have to make the adjustment. So plus sign, you need the bar below to release, right? But it is the same way going the opposite direction. This is what I mean by that. Okay. Plus sign, you can see the circles there. If you get a point of control above this, like this, it is going to jet, okay? This plus sign down, point of control above, is going to push. You will notice the backside test of that bar will often hold. I would not buy it into the bar. I would wait for the rejection bar out of it, okay? Just to be clear, my audio and video is good, right guys? Okay, so let me move through a few more. Pink bar, plus sign, bar underneath, huge release. So the reason I'm so harping on this, the reason I'm excited about this, is because the releases on these bars can be massive, significantly massive. Okay, so everything I've covered to this point, and all our other trades are still valid, apex trap, all of that, but here's where this is important to me. Okay, as everyone in the room knows, right, getting a run up like this can cause multiple stops, right? Especially if you're on tilt. Especially if you're on tilt. So you will notice, right? Purple bar plus sign. I'm obviously looking for the bar to close below the low of that bar, but it works the opposite as well. As soon as I get the point of control and close above, see you. Now watch. Where's your next plus sign down is all the way over here. I'm telling you, I know with anything new, it takes a little bit to get used to the structure or the idea. And most people, I've come to learn, do not like when I change the process. But this process change is very, very important. Okay? It's really super important. So I'm going to show you again. If you will look at the general nature, everyone should have this on their screens, right? I've distributed. If you look at the general nature, see that arrow down with a plus sign? It's powerful. When you're getting 2 algos, 3 algos on one bar, if you get the point of control over that, look at the rip to the upside. Look at the size of that rip. That's at 8:55 in the morning. It's a 70-point rip in one direction. And that's when I was discussing the video. Look, plus sign to plus sign. Now, do I expect anyone to hold it like that? No, it would take a lot of dedication. And there are times where that plus sign doesn't show up to all the way down here, right? So I don't expect everyone to go, well, I was up 70 points and I gave back 40, right? That it's just not the nature of our room or of our trading. Again, plus sign, point of control above. You can't get a point of control underneath. Rip again, right? You can add on that bar. And you'll notice when you get the bar up, see the quick backside test? So there's 2 ways to do that. You can simply say on the backside test, this bar that's backside testing can't close down, or I have to shut it down, right? Does that make sense? Go ahead, Leandro. Yes, sir. So the way that would work for me is if that plus sign had printed, because so that's an aggressive entry, right? It's way off the top, right? There's nothing wrong with taking it, but if you got that plus sign, there's no pink bar on it. As soon as you get that point of control above, especially with an algo like that, it's going to rip the other direction, right? So it's basically a plus sign stuffed, and you'll see the same thing here. They're going to attempt to get it below. So what you'll notice is as you're watching it, you're going to notice certain qualities about that plus sign as they appear. Like, for example, see this plus sign over here? See how you get the plus sign down? So plus sign, bar above, stretch. You're getting some kind of scale on almost all of these, right? But where you really want it is over here in the turn, right? So plus sign, bar down, potential for backside test. You don't want it to close back in or let it backside test, get the bar down, extension lower, right? Let me go through the rest of this day and then I'll do the 24 tick. plus sign, no pink dot, that bar is your entry, a stop below the point of control. And again, you'll see the backside test of this first bar is pretty common. If you'll take the first bar up out of it with a 7 to an 11 point stop, push, right? It is common. The reason why I tell you, and only take the backside test one time, by the way. Do not take it 3 times or 4 times or anything like that, right? So like when you see this bar, right? I'm very likely to have shorted here and gotten stopped here, right? That's just how I trade. But then I'm looking for it to come up against this bar and reject, right? If I short that, it's one time. Why? I don't want to circle around getting the same stop in the same area over and over again. That's the only thing that really crunches this. When you look at this for a bigger trade, and ask any questions you want. So like, see when we come down in here to the low and we V-shape back up, I know this is my last strong push, the combination of these two guys right here. So if I draw a point of control on these two, where's my plus sign? 1, 2, 3, right there, right? There's my point of control. See my point once I get above that, back. So he tries to force it. See when he tries to force this and he doesn't get the second bar lower, your entry is actually on this bar right here for the moonshot. That takes, let me tell you something. When you're starting off on this, I would take it, I adapt quicker than most people do. Everyone in the room knows that. I think I left my coffee in my house. I gotta get it in a second. Everyone that works with me knows that, right? So what I would suggest is this. Look for the pink bar plus sign to start with, right? And then go from there, like build from there. Because you'll start to notice, and watch it. You don't have to fire away on it today, right? But what I'd be looking for, pink dot, sorry, I said pink bar. Pink dot, and then it has to get the second bar. Once you have that pink dot, it's generally whichever side of that bar you close on, the lift bar, is what's going to determine it. And it's a 1 bar stop. When that prints, right, especially when the overall response should have been that should go lower, when it prints this way, it's just going to jet, right? When you look at, we had one this morning, I thought maybe it was 24 tick. Let me look. Maybe not. Let's see. Plus, with pink dot is most significant. I would agree with that. See if I can find it. I'll go back. But I'll be taking a lot of those plus signs, Randy. They let me escape most of the time, right? So when you see here this, like, that's the close, but I would expect an extension down like that. And when it's, let me add to that, plus sign with pink dot outside the channel is the most significant, right? Like there's just no question in it for me. I'll try to find an example of it. Like this, right? You get this on the outside of the channel here. Put a line underneath it, the release bar, and I would my anticipation would be of a significant release. When I see this over here, right, the close above that, I would expect a significant release out of that. So here's a place where it would have failed me, right? It's in the middle. I would have gone long. I really want to go long on the bar, but I'm getting shown that it's wrong, right? So here, right, I had gotten a lift and a half, enough to get my risk off. Then I would have gotten stopped, right? On this close underneath, right, again, I'm going to get a bar. Again, when we're trading in the middle, we already know that it's difficult. And here's the other piece. The plus sign on the outside of the channel is valuable in and of itself. See this plus sign? That's still a valid entry on that bar. It's still a significant push, right? This over here, right? I would go, oh, they're going to push. But as soon as, see when they push, when it's pushing and it gets above, this never fails. Like this entry, This should never happen on this trade. So now when you go the other way and you get the plus in the direction, that's where it gives you the significant extension. And what you're going to see and what should happen and where this is most valuable. See where this pushes and breaks out? This is where this is most valuable. Let's make the assumption the win rate on this is 50-50, right? It's higher than that, but I'm just going to say it. The win rate's actually somewhere between 65 and 72%, okay? When you count win as I got my scale off, right? This is what pays for that entire trade, because I would not exit this trade until this bar over here, hypothetically, and that's 100 points, right? When I get over here, let's see if I can find it. No, I want it outside the channel. I just don't get it here on the 24 tick. You need there. That, I know that's at 823, but that's a huge trade, right? So here's the easy part. Observe in the middle until you have a rhythm down. Trade on the outside of the bands for your largest trades. And then the most important trade to me, if I can find it here, especially to the long side, is this. Okay, you should print that and commit it to memory, even if it gets a second bar down, because almost every breakout we get looks like this, right? It pushes down and then the release bar, and it has a huge release to the upside. I know it's in the top of the channel, so here, let me put more bars up. Oh, it's 8:30. So let's just watch how it develops, and then we'll go from there, and then we'll answer questions. It's the first day with this, right? Let it develop. It's a really good algo. There's no doubt in my mind. It's a really good algo, especially on the outside of the channel. Let's let it develop and pay us, okay? So see this? That 610 against that 601. In my eyes, that trade should hold. That 610 against 601, that should go, right? That should go. This right here, when it got stuffed, that should lift up into the outside of the channel. It may be an opinion, but it is my opinion on that trade, right? It should lift up and push to the outside, and if it doesn't, that's all right. 8:30, right? Most risky time of day to take a trade, right? No one would argue with me on that, I don't think, right? So all we're doing is trying to get this trade set up so that when I get the plus sign, stuffed, long, I should not get below 601. Let's just use it for educational purposes, right? There's nothing on the 24 tick yet. So it should not get below a point of control below this guy, right? So you can see there that 601 will end up failing, right? Does that make sense? And do not trade it the first 10 minutes, guys. Do not. It would not make any sense. It would be bad for your health, right? It would be bad for your health to trade it the first 10 minutes. You will get stopped. Hey, Brian, good morning. Yeah, Brian, I put out a couple of videos, if you'll scroll up, and you do have that book. It's called TMP Momentum 0714. Let me close this. If you don't, let me know. I'll send it to you, but I sent it yesterday to you. Let me know if you have it, sir. And then I need to add my moving averages to this, so give me just a second. I'll do it in a little bit. I just want to watch this on its face value first. We are up to start the day, 88 points, and ES is up 25 points. You bet. So give me time to teach it to you before you blow it off or go, I'm not going to use this, it's a new algo. It's a very, very, very good algo. It's really good. Okay, see the plus sign down? That bar, that plus sign will not release once the point of control is above. Push. Okay, so we do need range to make any of this work, right? So that's on the 24 tick. So see that plus sign pink bar stuffed? Yeah, that's what I'm looking for on the 15 tick for the both the short and the long, right? So I would expect follow through on that trade. To the downside. Plus pink bar, plus sign outside the channel. And once I get that, I would expect follow through. The only place I like it better is on the 24 tick because I would expect the range to be bigger on that trade. And I would expect, and my idea would be I would short this and wait for the next plus sign up to come out of the trade, right? So it's a great example of what I'm looking for. Okay, again, this is the first 5 minutes of the day, so take it with a grain of salt. I'm not shutting out the rooftops, but the entry is this bar. You really just need 11 points on that. If you want to be super aggressive, like if you get an algo on the downside, it's usually going to stick. But when I went back and looked just now on the 15, I found a bunch of examples where it didn't. And again, the stretch on this 31 to 06 in minutes, just so powerful. I'm telling you, I know I get excited about every algo that I see, but this is extremely, incredibly encouraging to me. Give me a second. I'm going to go get my coffee. I'll be right back. I left it in the house. Okay, so this part is important to me so that you understand. If we start ripping up like this, so one of the places this becomes really, really important. If we start ripping, so I have an issue, it's my own issue, but I like to find the short as we are going up. I will not short this until I see a plus sign down on process even, right? I would rather miss, so here's an example, plus sign down, your entry's on the up arrow, see ya. Plus sign, next bar, see ya, okay? The algo is really freaking good, okay? Thank you, Brian. The dome looks okay to me. So see that? Let's say that's, oh, that's short. If I don't see a plus sign around here, I just assume miss that. So that I don't get, check your days. Okay. I did. I'll reload, recalculate. Oh, there's the problem. Sorry about that. Okay, we should be good now. There. I don't care what algo I see. If I do not see a plus sign, I assume miss the move. Interesting. I don't use their charts, but interesting. Okay, thank you, sir. Yeah, that is looking messed up. Thank you, sir. So yeah, that's, so see that plus sign? Bam, that's your entry bar, 7 to 11 point stop. That is valid outside the channel, right? As well. I didn't take it. Again, it's the first half hour and I'm learning, teaching, and watching with y'all. Right? Nothing wrong with the other charts and the other setups. I just want to see that plus sign at least appear beforehand so I don't get face ripped. And then the other thing I want to do here real quick. I would have thought they would have taken out that 2076 or this prior to the open. Or this. The half hour levels, right? There's a bunch of them overnight. We went sideways, so you'd really use that swing like there in the point of control. So we'll see. Right back down to the low. So how very interesting. See the size of the extensions that are the potential from that are just giant, right? Plus sign on the 24, bar below is your entry. Let's call that a 15-point stop on the 24 tick. Some people asked me yesterday. But if you ask me why I'm so excited, it isn't the entry. I got entries that are good all over the place. It's the extensions that are coming off of it are monstrous, right? And that changes the math for us in a significant way. Huge, as a matter of fact. And again, when we're ripping down like this, no plus sign, not even a consideration for me to start catching this. I don't give a shit what it looks like. what support level it's in or isn't in, etc., etc. I just don't care. I'd rather miss the move, and you will miss moves, than try to catch that free falling, apex traps, all of it. Plus sign first on at least a 15 tick. I understand that that's pink dot purple bar stuff, and that's usually very good. Again, what I'm trying to protect myself against is getting stop after stop after stop on a face ripper down, right? So I'm clear on what I need and how I need it. And questions are welcome, guys. No stress. If you ask me a question, I'm not even worried about missing a trade. Randy, we're good now. We match? Okay, cool. Tweezer bottom. Potential. Below a 30-minute period. And IB low. Plus sign, potential stuffed. I need the second bar down to verify that if it gets stuffed. Right? You'll see where that's occurring is on this plus sign down over here, which will usually provide some kind of resistance. I don't know if there was news right out of the gate. Is it? Okay, hold on a second, Bill. No, I'm getting it. We just missed. Yes, I did. Is that a... Oh, I see what the problem is. Yes, I did. Hold on. Thank you, sir. Sorry. It's wrong. So, Bill, that just gave me another idea. Hold on, I'm going to send it to you. Got it. Thank you, sir. I just deleted the wrong one. Here, let me fix this. Damn, I can't believe I did that. But I will get it straight. You cannot duplicate these charts from 15 to 24. It's algo specific. Sorry about that. Fixed. There. So see how when we were ripping down over here, I don't want to make a decision on that whole rip down until I see a plus sign. Even if I'm looking for my other algos, I don't want to look at it at least until I see another plus sign. And then same with the reversals to the short side, right? So it's in that 10-minute window. There are stops still in that 10-minute window. So I would wait till 9 o'clock, which is exactly what I'm doing anyways, and we will go from there. That's why this is not a trade for me, right? This is not a trade for me. I want to see the plus sign show up first and then start making decisions next. I will miss moves, no question about it, but I will not get slaughtered on trend day down and trend day up. And that to me is worth a fortune. A lot of balance on a wide range. Plus sign, bar, lift. See how it went plus sign, backside test at the top of that bar and lifted again? Closes at 42, it's a long. Whichever way it closes out of that, the bar up should lift. On the 15 tick. Needs 42, and it should launch. Let's see if my read is correct. Whichever way it closes out of that. Oh, I didn't look if there's econ either. Is there econ at 9, guys? Got it. Okay. $17.50 also gets it. That's direction of. Chop chop. That's entry with a 11-point stop again. Look at the time, right? We really wanted after 9 o'clock, but that's correct. 1300. There she blows. Oh, I know what I have backwards. The 15 and the 24. That's why it's throwing me off. There, let's switch this. 15 to the right, 24 in the center. See, that was the break. Bam. It's still the close above this. Launches you on an upside break. I'll be long 42 with an 15 point stop if that prints. 42 with the 15 point stop. Small size, right? Just give me a little bit of, there you go, I'm long. 42, 15 point stop, which puts me at 27. That's a hard trade to take when you're looking for the breakout, by the way. So this is small for me and uncomfortable. I'm obviously more comfortable taking it on the dip than I am any other way, right? So it is small for me. It's the first time I've done this, right, where I'm trying to capture the upside break. Not exactly my forte. Say you can move your stop to 27. All right, it should hold that. It should go. When I see it, it just, it goes. There we go. Guys, is it making sense? The feedback is much appreciated. Randy, Brian, there's a video in there, Brian, multiple videos on the YouTube channel too that I've done, and I posted several videos this morning. But Leandro, it's working the way I said, right? It's just hard to train your brain into it the first day, right? But it should help us capture these upside breakouts when they come up into the upper right hand corner and they break like that and they go for 50, 60, 100 points like this. Taking risk off here at 58, okay? Meaning I have paid for my stop, okay? I've paid for my stop and my goal is to get the extensions, okay? This is going to become one of my favorite trades up here. You get the plus sign stuffed at the high, right? And then they close above it. And it is usually see ya, hasta la vista, baby. Especially in a bull market. It'll be the opposite in a bear market, right? But that trade right there, my hope is after I get my brain trained on it, that I can press and press and press like this on that trade. Again, I want to publicly thank Bill, who did an enormous amount of work on this with me. Very, very much to get this algo done. This is a collaboration of 3 years to get this algo completed. It was not a, oh, look at this and we've got it all figured out kind of deal. So see how I have no plus sign over here to work with? No thanks. And this should act as support right down here. Should. Or this. So that was a 42 to 65 so far. I will go to quarter size, 40, what I do, I took this at 42, 42, 72. I'll go to quarter size if it hits that 72. And I don't know that it will. And you can obviously at this point bring your stop to break even if you wanted to. That's actually valid. Plus sign, down bar, 11-point stop. I'm on a 15 tick. It's just not off the high, right? And it's not stuffed. So I'll be monitoring this. I'll circle them as I see them come along. I didn't like that. Right click. There we go. It cannot print that 6150, right? Up to test. Again, you close over that plus sign and it lifts. That's a plus sign that's validated by that second bar. You should see some kind of roll to the downside on that. Like that. Plus sign, stuffed, second bar. The stop required on that was 65 to 76. Survived. Rolled. Now we'll see how far it goes. For a truly larger break, you have to get below this point. Let's plus sign that. 33. holding that 200 period moving average very nicely. Chop, chop. In a very tight range. Chop, chop. No motion, no rotation. So be cautious, guys. It's just whipping back and forth. Still got to have rotation. We've lost it all. If anything, it's trend up and you haven't gone inverted supernova. And there's whipping from one side of that little range to the other after the breakout. That's the only issue with this, is if you start getting it stuffed over and over in a sideways consolidation. Yes, sir. All the same, Brian. 3 days. You cannot convert the 15 to a 24 or vice versa. The 15 has to stay on 15, the 24 has to stay on 24. Don't change anything on that chart. Whichever way we close on this should be the break, up or down. Yes, you're 100% correct. That's how mine is. 25 cents. And into Monday chop, bull market chop. So, caution on the overtrading, guys. You need rotation to make any of this work. We've lost it. We've just gone into a 20-point range since 9 o'clock. 78 to 58, basically. Chop, chop, chop. But no sellers. Wow, that's disappointing. I'd have hoped for a little bit of the whipsaw. But we didn't get it. We're getting the chop saw instead. Right down, right back in. Guys, it's mega chop. We still have to have rotations up and down, or this is going to get stopped all over the place inside that channel. They're just chopping it. Pretty much, we got to wait till they pull back or break out or do something. It's still on a breakout. Like, we're long from here, right? So that's kind of my 2 cents about that. I'll just wait patiently. Look at that. It is a chopperoni. I'll take a break. We'll see what it looks like in an hour. There, we're above the 200 period, and we're just chopping sideways. Everyone doesn't want to miss the next break, but it's no one wants to let it down, and no one is buying it either. So it's all right. It's just consolidation. You work off overbought by trading sideways, and you take the next level up. That's how it works. And it's Monday. That's the other thing I've got to remind everybody of, obviously. So I would not trade this at all. It's all stuck inside consolidation. Just let them work it out, whatever they're going to do. The likelihood is upside break. We're in a bull market. Likelihood doesn't mean have to. Just my thoughts. What are you going to do when everyone's shorting here and then they got to go, okay, well, I'm wrong. See what I mean? Plus sign, right? It took a long time. Plus sign, whichever side they close of that consolidation, lift up. That's usually going to lift for continuation. Shorts are just kind of trapped. man, what a chopsicle. And what a drag. I would not trade this range at all, guys. It's just chopping the shit out of people. 82 to 62, 64 to 84. 20 points. You wait 10 points, you're like, oh, I've got to trade. Oh, I've gotten stopped. Just how it is. It's very, very difficult to trade this. Oh, thank you, sir. There you have it. Hal speaking. My guess is upside break, but that's because there's no sell pressure on this thing. Like, look at the size of the sell waves. They're minuscule at best. And it's Monday. There goes the upside break. Came back to test the top of the purple bar with a plus sign. Off it goes again. Isn't that cool? Consolidation, right? Consolidation, plus sign, close above the plus sign, lift. Plus sign, circle bar, pink dot, backside test the 80, lift. And what are you shooting for? See these blue levels? These are 30-minute levels. That's why we consolidated. So the next, you're shooting for 2710 is your next target up. So you're gonna have to give me a couple days to string it all together really, really well, but this is close. Right. Good job, Brian. See how they're gonna go? They're gonna head right for this 2710. After that, it's the 2742 of the high of the day. And then our next level is all the way at 2280, 880 from a half hour perspective. Here comes the 710. Choo choo. We usually poke our head right above it. Not always. This should turn out to be this right here. our most powerful trade in our book. Not because it has a higher win rate than any of the other setups, but because the extension on it can be 50 to 100 points, 30 to 100 points, let's call it that, and it changes our RR perspective significantly. So this bar would need, in order to be a failure, because there's no pink dot on that bar itself, would need 2 bars down if you were looking to short as we're breaking to up to the upside, right? So if you're going like, hey, they're going to bust it, that's where it comes from. Obviously a scalp, but some of those rules. What would you look for on the chart? Okay, well we're right now. There's a couple of things. We're above the 200 period. We're above IB high, right? And we haven't had inverse supernova, meaning we've been unable to get below any of these swings here for a downside move. So the first thing I'd look for is a break below and above Globex high. So above here. Secondly, I'd like to get back in below Globex high, but from where we're at right now, this is the starting point for that. Like, I need to close below this point as a minimum to start looking for the momentum to switch, because otherwise, if you think of the rest of the market's mentality, like, why would anyone be eager to sell here when there's higher highs, higher lows, bull market, targets up above, all that stuff? Like, I would just wait patiently. So see how this needed 2 bars here, and now actually now that you have this close above, it should print a few more bars. So obviously they get shakier the further up we go. That concept or idea gets shakier. So still use your, like this one this one was easy, right? Easy for me. This is what I've seen multiple times, right? We get the plus bar down, they pull down the first bar that closes above that plus sign from here to here at a top. Like, see how that was a double top? As soon as you get above this point of control with another point of control, it's going to take off. That was the best trade we've had this morning, right? Because that gave, and then you can use your 30-minute targets to push above, which is why I took it. Now you just sit and chill patiently. And high days getting banged out again. Anyone who's shorting, this is exactly what I'm talking about on the short. If you don't get the plus sign with a dot on it, the plus sign with the 2 bars down, why even, you'll still get stopped sometimes, but why even bother? So if you were looking for a short signal off the high, that's it, right there. And you're gonna try and push that baby, right? And you wanna do it with an 11-point stop, so it's like 12 against 13 or something to that degree, right? You want a 13 stop on that. The entry was roughly 02, right? And that's on the 15, not the 24, and we have not gone inverse supernova yet, right? So you got to keep all of that in mind. That's just a potential off the high, right? And that's all that is. It's a potential off the high, can still come back. Why? You can't make it underneath any of these swings, right? So if you get a plus sign back up, a strong algo back up, you should probably cover that, right? That would be my suggestion. Trying to put in on the 15 a little head and shoulders there. It's just on the 15. You really have to get over here for the 24. And that's a beginning sign on that 15 that at least there's some sellers present in this little arena. You now need to get a close underneath this bar. And then on retraces, if you get your plus sign, that's where the bigger rolls will come from. Again, to me, invaluable because it kept you safe all the way up in a non-painful fashion. high coming up. Plus sign, you need another bar down, but you can start to see they're giving it wiggle room, right? See how that plus sign gave 1, 2, 3 bars down. Now we're looking for 3, 4, 5. We want to get underneath these guys and then retrace back up to give us a clue as to where they can come back in the other direction. So 1, 2 down from here, so 0, 2, right? Again, with a max, I'd say 11-point stop, so it'd be that 14 right there, roughly. After the second bar prints, you got to get the second bar to print, or that just goes away. And they will stop. They will stop on true trend day up. 15 is going to give it easier than the 24, right? But this is not a valid entry yet. It needs the bar below. As a matter of fact, I would argue if you get the 17, you're going to push again. If you're willing to continuously take it as it pushes in this direction. Back to that stair step chop. Plus sign, blue square. If you can get that 95.50 to print, that would be worth fishing on for a high. I'll short 95.50 with a stop. It has to be a big stop on that. Let's see if we can get it to retrace afterwards. I'll stop. So the 17.50 has to be the stop on that 95.50. So what I'll do is I'll enter a quarter size and add when that 17.50 gets to 07.50. Okay, and then I'll go full size. That's how I'm going to manage that until I figure out exactly how I want that stop to be on the 24 tick. Okay. See how we got to that 30-minute period there? And just consolidated around it. And if it gets above that, now the next is the high. High of the day is the natural target. High of Friday is the natural target. And we are in trend up, right? So this is me just being experimental and looking at the trade. Here comes the high of day. That should be taken easily. And done. Nice. Look at that. Plus sign, confirm down, get the point of control above, lift. No indication to short over here. See how that plus sign disappeared? You had to have it. You had to have that second bar down to print it. Does that make sense? Yeah, there's no rotation down. We're on trend up. And that's, there was a plus sign on the 24, yeah, and now it's gone because it has to have the second bar to stick. Yes, Randy, 100%. It was a plus sign on one of these blue squares. I have it recorded, so if you note the time, 9:52, so we can go back and look on the video at 9:45 and back it and check it out. So see that plus sign? You can speculate on that bar, right? But it's got to stick. Does that make sense? you've got to get that second bar, so you might as well cover it at 28.75, right? If it doesn't follow through immediately, because they're just going to erase it. Not on the 15 tick. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, it has to go to the next. It has to go to 17 and a quarter. It has to get to 17. I thought you said 17 points. Yeah, 17 and a quarter, 100% to print, so you can speculate on it, but it'll stop you sometimes. It's strong. When you get all three of those on one bar, it's strong. But at least you know where to speculate, right? Looks like we're coming up for another new high. There it is. Versus in a down market or underneath that, it just takes off, right? As opposed to this slow melt up that we're having here. But it sure feels better than shorting every inch of this thing. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we really got the breakout, you know, which is cool. There's no rotation down at this point. None. The other good way to know when it's all right to come out and look at the shorts is if you hit the bottom of the channel. After you get the bottom of the channel, bounce and then come look for another. But they're just, they don't have any desire to, any desire to kick this out. It's just a, look at it. They're just like, no, 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 no. Give it to me any way you can get it to me. New high coming up. new high, they print. Pink bar plus, that bar has to print down. Okay, so you can again, you can speculate on it. It's 958, but you have to have the second bar to know that's going to stick. So my suggestion is you start small, go larger. It's 11-point stop from that 24.75. If you want to speculate on the hardest core version of that turn, right? And you have to be willing to take the stop on it in order to do it. Like at this point, why would you even want to consider shorting? Like it's just a train, right? Let someone else break it for the love of everything that's good. Another thing is these should be. No, not quite. Missed it by an inch. They'll probably come back and take care of it in a second. You'd have to figure. It got into the single prints. That's why it slowed down, Randy. So that's a valid print, but again, look at the time, right? So you just put it up against the high and go, well, I hope it holds. That's all you can do on that. Or 11 points from whatever that was, but it shouldn't even give a reversal like that. Like it should just go, right? So you'd expect they're going to come up and take out the high of the day. Like why wouldn't they? Crazy. Crazy for you, can't you see? Look at that shit. Choo choo. This is the Trump is going to win rally, is what they're going to label this. Just nutty. But that's okay. We had the break. And look, it's gathering steam, not losing it on the top. Just pure trend day up. See how the plus sign disappears if you don't get the second bar down? And there's no plus sign on the 15 tick, on the 24 tick. It was there and it disappeared. They didn't get the second bar down. It's just crazy how strong this thing is. No inverted supernova, nothing. Just see ya. They're going to keep tagging it. Anyways, I'm probably going to go to lunch. That was a good morning in my eyes. That was a good morning. Because it did exactly what I wanted to do, which is not bone crush me on the way up. That's what I wanted it to do. There's no give in this market. All the plus signs up pretty much worked well. We had the breakout. I don't know what else we could ask for in terms of trade quality, what we could have done better, right? Like, how would we do this? How would we do this any better? Would be beyond me. I mean, if you look at a 5-minute bar, it's just been a straight up market, right? And we had the breakout. So, guys, you're welcome to ask me any questions. I think it did as advertised, pretty close, considering the conditions. And that's a huge advantage to us, huge. They're already calling it the Trump assassination attempted rally. You knew someone was going to come up with it. So I'll let it break and then I'll come and play with it. Okay, that's the best thing I can advise, is let it break and then come look for the opportunity. But this is trend day up. I thought we did a good job. So guys on YouTube, thanks for joining. If you'd like to visit the room, you can. There's a link, the email address, tradeandperform@gmail.com, and we welcome you if you'd like to come check it out. Have a great day.